Alright, so in this video we are going to talk about clip groups. So there's lots of great reasons to use these, but two that first come to mind might be that it makes it easier to deal with heavily edited sections of audio. So say that you have like a cajon part like this that's very edited and broken up. So if I want to duplicate this as a groove, it's not very easy to do, and there's just a lot of edits here, and I might want to just have something that's easier to deal with so that I can grab a whole chunk in, say, the verse of this cajon part and then move it around or put it someplace else. So how can I do that? Well, I can make a clip group out of it. So I go clip. So it's also Option Command G. On a Windows machine, I think it would be Alt Control G. So, and then you notice you get this nice group here that's a single clip that I can then move around really easily to another chunk of my song if I need to. So that's one reason why you might do it, is if you have all these little separate individual clips because a certain instrument has been heavily edited, you can bring those all together, and then if you need to get back to edit it again, it's actually really easy because you can go clip, ungroup, and then edit it. So that's one great reason for a clip group. Another one is you're not limited to just one track in a clip group. So one of the things that you can do is actually take an entire section of a piece. I want all of this stuff in a single chunk that's like my verse, so that I can then, if I want to, paste that verse somewhere else. Now, if I have to copy and paste this, it's going to be problematic. So I can then instead go clip, group, and now I have one very clear chunk that I can then move elsewhere. So then I can come down to maybe here. So I had the voiceover, not the reverb selected. Paste. And there we go. I've got that whole verse or whatever it is as one big chunk of audio that I can move around and rearrange or recompose, whatever needs to happen. And then again, if I need to get out of this to edit it, it's a very easy clip ungroup, or you can actually right click also and go ungroup. And you can also do that for grouping, right? So group and ungroup are also a right click on a selection. That will work too. So then I can ungroup those and edit as I want. And I can also regroup them if I just took them apart and then I want to put them back together. I go clip and regroup. So when I did that, it actually brings up kind of an interesting thing, which is it says some of the clips being regrouped are used elsewhere in the session. Would you like to modify those clips or create new copies? So I just took this group from that first verse, copied it over here, and then ungrouped it. And then maybe I did some edits in here, and I want to now regroup them. Well, Pro Tools is going to ask me, hey, do you want to keep those edits just in this new group? Or do you want, when I put this group back together, for it to also modify the original group so that the updates in this group also carry over to the other, so that your edits basically are global for that chunk of audio? So Pro Tools is wondering, hey, do you want this to update also the other groups? Or do you want to just make a copy and make this one a brand new clip group? So modify will modify the previous one if you've made edits or any other groups that match it. And copy will preserve the changes in this one, but keep the others the same. So right now it doesn't matter because I didn't actually make any changes. So I'll just hit copy. Now you'll notice that this group is now called group 5 and the original group is called group 4. So that is because this has become a new copy that's now independent of that other group. Had I clicked modify, they would both still be called group 4. So that's kind of a cool way to say update all the matching groups, is ungroup them, make your edits, regroup them, and then when that dialog comes up, you say modify. All the instances of that particular group will be updated, which is pretty cool. Some other things about groups. So I'm just going to undo these. First of all, let's look at this cajon track. If I want to take this groove right here in the cajon part, and duplicate it across several more measures, it's a little bit problematic because if I don't select exactly right and hit duplicate, the position of the clips is not going to duplicate into the right place. So for instance, if I just selected the clips, maybe with the grabber, and I thought, hey, I just want to duplicate this and to loop it a few more times. Is it going to loop right? No, because it's just going to take, let's see what happens, duplicate. Notice that the new loop just grabs the very first edge of what I had selected. So it placed this now in a funny place in the beat. So another cool thing about clip groups is you can select empty space. The clip group is based on the selection, not the clips that you grab. So when I select across this and then make a clip group of it, clip group, now I have something I can very easily Command D and duplicate, and I will get a perfect loop with everything lined up just right. So that's another cool use of a clip group, is because you can select empty space along with the clips, you can create a clip group that loops or duplicates really easily. Also, so if I make a clip group right here, and notice I have space here, we know that's going to be included in the clip group, but what's going to happen to this clip that doesn't have a separation here? Well, if I make a clip group out of this, so clip group, it will separate at those boundaries of the selection the clips that go past it, right? So it separates these clips that are bigger than fit in the group so that I can then move them around just to move it over, and you can see those are cleanly separated there. So just so you know that functionality, it's not going to grab all the way to the end of the clip. It's just going to grab where the selection edges are. So let's have a look at the icons we get on groups real quick. Let's just do this. Let me just grab just a chunk here, and I'm going to right click this time and then choose group. And now I have this clip group, and you will notice the icon on here is a fallen Christmas tree. So that's actually a waveform, right? So everything that's been copied here is a audio file. So the icon at the bottom left here will help tell you what types of clips are inside your group. So this one happens to be all audio clips. So if I do all MIDI in my clip group, I get group, and it looks like that. I get this little MIDI cable end looking thing. And then if there's audio in there too, so an audio, even if there's no actual real audio, just the fact that there's an audio track included in my group, I will get mixed, the mixed icon, which means there's audio and MIDI together in this group. And then there's one more kind you get, which is if I get a group and then I add this. So I'm going to select this track, skip this track, the baseline track, and then add these two. And so these three don't touch, right? I can still make a group of those, a clip group, and the icon that I'll get now shows a non-contiguous clip group. So these are members of the group, but there's a break of a track somewhere in there. So that's one other icon you might see. Just so you know, you can also nest groups. So I could take this group and then make a larger group from them and go group all of these. So now I have group 2, which includes all these tracks. And then say I were to ungroup this, I would still have those nested groups inside. So you can nest multiple levels of groups, which is kind of nice. Finally, the last thing you should know is that clip groups also exist in the clip list. So I can take this section of audio and group it, and you'll notice that now I have a group over in the clip list. And this one says 3M channels, which means that this group contains 3 MIDI channels. And again, if we make one that is including audio, then it will show how many audio tracks we have and how many MIDI tracks we have. So in this case, it's now 1 audio track and 3 MIDI tracks. And then you can also click the little drop-down arrow and see what's in there. So that's about it for clip groups. Hope those are helpful. Last thing for clip groups. So every once in a while you need a little bit of a spacer, say in a spoken word thing where you need maybe exactly a second of space or something. So you can create a spacer out of a clip group. So since you can make a selection with nothing in it and then make a clip group out of it, you now have an empty spacer that you can use when you're, say, working with spoken word in shuffle mode. So you'll have this 1 second spacer or a ½ second spacer or whatever you need. So you can use these clip groups to also make spacers. So clip groups, pretty cool, useful things. And that's about it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.